welcome to the final edition of the Frontrunner podcast for 2025. My name is Arlen Kayser, and what a year it's been in racing here in South Australia. We're going to recap some of the more memorable moments for 2025, and we're also going to chat to trainer Paula Trenwith, who's had a fantastic sports bet finals day on the weekend. And let's go out with a bang, Link. Let's find a few winners at Morphettville Parks on Saturday. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, mate. A bit of a... coming off a massive weekend there with Sports Bet Finals Day. It was a huge day of racing. Some really good results, some good stables, which is, I tend to think, always tends to unfold on Finals Day. We know so many stables sort of set themselves for that, those big $100,000 races. So keen to look at that and have a bit of a look at the year that was. Yeah. If only we're all knocking off now, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice. The producer here is, so good on him. But look, let's get stuck into it. Finals Day, I was there. It was a really miserable day weather-wise. I don't think it stopped raining from race 1 to 9, which is obviously unideal. And Sportsbet and SAJC and Racing SA, they all put a massive amount of effort into getting that DAP. And really, it was a really good crowd. I think they had close to 2,500, which is fantastic considering the rain and the weather. But as I said, the racing was exceptional. I think it's just a day that's going to continue to build on because, as we've seen, there's going to be some stars of the future there and some really exciting horses to look at, Link. And I think you've picked out a few of the, I suppose, more impressive winners on Saturday, and race 1, most of the show was up the top there.
Yeah, I think for me, that's the horse that's got probably the most upside of the day. Obviously, went around on the Wednesday, got beaten. Punters probably turned an eye away from him on Saturday, but it was a good effort. He's clearly a horse that... I think when he gets to a better level, he's going to be better again. So I reckon he's got the most upside. It was a great result for everyone involved. And as Richard said, Richard Jolly, glad he didn't win his maiden on Wednesday because he wouldn't have been going around. So, it was pretty impressive because I think there's probably the first 4 or 5 horses home in that field are all going to end up nice enough horses in time.
Yeah, and some other really good results from a stable or good news point of view, and eventually winning for Sarah Rutten. I know she spoke to the guys at racing.com about one of her, really good owners who has a share in that, and it was obviously a big win for him. Oxford Blue, one of our men, Stephen Theodore, got the job done with the favourite there. I know he was a bit nervous heading into that race. Didn't really want the weather to come, and it did, but proved it was much too good. And front runner's own Chicago Storm as well, one of ours. I didn't back it, unfortunately, but he got the chockies in a very, very good G-Char edition.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just such a good, honest horse, Chicago Storm. No surprise to see him do what he did. Probably he was way over the odds for a horse with his record, but in saying that, there was some quality horses in that. You touched on Oxford Blue. Campbell Royler, a double. He's come back in really great form. I think he's ridden 14 winners from his last 50, Campbell, so he's flying, and obviously a double for Caitlin Tootle as well, which was great to see. Bring up her 100th career win in the last race of the day. Aboard another front-runner favourite, Ginger Sinner.
Yeah, we'll talk to trainer Paula Trenwith about that a little later on, but let's not gloss over the fact you tipped Worsfold as well in the sports bet restricted final.
Needed it, and may have taken under the odds to what he jumped. But yeah, that was a good training effort. Luke O'Connor's done a huge job with a small team since he's sort of stepped back into the training, and it was some sort of win. When you're watching it, I felt a bit sick because that horse was travelling better than anything about 600 or 800 metres out, and you just thought the way the race unfolded, it was going to be very hard to beat. He's always been a pretty handy horse. Sure, it was a long time between drinks, but you could tell that was a really good setup by the stable and a huge result for that horse to wind the clock back on such a day.
I think it was about 1,000 days between wins for Worsfold, and half of that, which is still a long way, was Starlight Valley, about 530, I reckon. But a great result. I reckon you gave a little bit of a push for it in the podcast. You said it wouldn't be a race that shocked if...
I did, and I weighed up between 2 horses on the day and did not back Starlight Valley, but one of my friends had something on. He was quick to alert me to it just for a bit of salt in the wound. So that could have been a nice bailout, but unfortunately it wasn't.
Don't you love that? Let's have another look back at what happened on Friday night, actually, and spoke about it on the podcast last week. The Dare to Dream horse, the Lincoln local Spangled Sipper. She went around in her Port Lincoln debut on Friday in the last at Port Lincoln. We got about 118 owners in the horse, 60 brand new owners into racing, which is awesome. And a lot of them showed up on Friday night at Port Lincoln, which was great. But things didn't quite go to plan for her. The buckle on the nose roll snapped. The poor horse was running blind for a bit of the race, covered up her, I think it was a left eye coming down the straight. So very good news that she got through the race unscathed, as did Jaden Kerr aboard. But if you were watching it and going, God, what happened to that horse? There's a few that can go on the forgive file, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was hard to watch. You seeing this sort of white thing flashing around in front of the horse's head, as you said. Probably lucky that she stayed on her feet at some point, because I don't know what you're like at running if you can't see where you're going, but I don't reckon I'd be much good at it. So, yeah, absolute forgive. Follow with interest. I think this horse has got a lot of upside. So, yeah, good to see such a passionate group of owners there on track. There was a little bit video hit the socials this week. Plenty of people excited about her, and yeah, I'm sure she's going to only be improved by that.
Yeah, I think she's going to step out maybe over 17.50 next start on Friday the 5th, I think, at Over Port Lincoln. So keep an eye out for her there. On to this Saturday night, we've got the SA Breeders' Horse of the Year nominees, and I think we mentioned they're having their second kind of awards night this year to bring it in line closer to the end of the season. And I think we mentioned this one of the shows earlier this year that the quality of horse that is bred in this state is exceptional. If you look through some of the horses here that are nominated for Horse of the Year, you've got Angel Capital, Attrition, Benedetta, Barclay Square, Galaxy Patch, who won a Group 2 in Hong Kong on the weekend just gone. Obviously, the Group 1 winner, Gold Rush Guru, Ray Magnario, Silence Sorrente, the Cup winner, Sir Sway, Sox Nation, the Doctor of Love, who was second in a New Zealand derby, I think, as well as Too Darn Discreet and Watch Me Win. It's a fair collection of horses, Link.
Absolutely. Some real genuine top-line horses there. Obviously, Galaxy Patch doing a massive job overseas. Ray Magnario goes around in the winner bottom on Saturday. So he's obviously a horse that he falls in that category. You probably forget that he started or was bred here. So, yeah, Angel Capital, we know, has got enormous upside. So, yeah, certainly some big names there. And, yeah, there's always a few fall through the cracks because they obviously end up interstate from either sales or where connections send them. So, yeah, it's certainly a very good list of horses, and there'll be some probably a bit unlucky to miss out.
Yeah, I agree. And before we get into the show, we'll just have a look at a couple of South Australian runners across the border on Saturday at Caulfield. The listed Doveton Stakes over 1,100 metres. We see Aviatress back, as well as Prairie Flower. Craig Williams sticks with Aviatress, and Lockie Neindorf's going to ride Prairie Flower.
Yeah, two horses we've got a lot of time for here. Wide Gates, the pair. Richard Jolly indicated Aviatress before her first up run would need it. I thought given that, she was enormous. So you'd expect her to run really well with Craig riding. Prairie Flower, we sound like a bit of a broken record with her, but one day it may happen. I'm not sure it'll be this weekend, but I think Aviatress is certainly the horse that's going to improve sharply off that first up run, which was very good.
Yeah, market agrees. She's currently the $4.40 favourite in the race, and Prairie Flower's $13 chance, so genuine each way play there. And in the lucky last, we see Shripper step out to 1,400 metres, which is interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. First time beyond 1,200 for a horse he's got a lot of talent, and I didn't think his last start was that bad, but 1,400 metres is a big query. We've seen him, probably the best run of his career was when he didn't win, and that was in that Oakley Plate where his stablemate won it, and that's when he was out the back and gave him a massive start, ran some really electric sectionals late. So maybe if they can get him to settle over the 1,400, he can be somewhere in the mix. But yeah, we will be great to see him run an improved race over there on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the listed Testarossa Stakes over the 1,400 metres. Billy Egan to ride, and currently getting $27 and $6.50, which is not too bad considering the horse has never missed the placings in 3 third-up runs. So
yeah, very good stats.
Maybe ready to go.
Yep, over the odds for sure.
All right, mate, let's get stuck into the rest of the show. All right, Link, let's have a look at our top 5 moments of 2025. Now, kind of gone, SA moments here. So it could be an SA horse interstate. It could be, a good result here in Adelaide. I've never seen you more nervous about a segment in my life.
Well, it's there's a bit of pressure on, and when you rock up to the studio with only top 4, you've got to think pretty quickly. But yeah, look, there has been some great moments. Am I going to kick it off?
Oh, go for it, mate. Go for it.
Well, 5 for me. I'm going to go with the Stokes stable winning the South Australian Premiership last season, and they're still rolling well. I think the way that stable's been able to do what they do interstate and maintain a base here in Adelaide, and the way they just switch them back and forth and hit hard, I think has been very impressive. They're a vital cog in our industry, and yeah, I think that effort for the everyone involved has been pretty impressive. So that was number 5 for me.
I like it. My number 5, I'm going to go with On Display's win in the listed Adelaide Guineas. Now, it was an absolute moral beat in that Group 2 Queen of the South, held up at 40s. I reckon we both might have had something kind of each way, and got stuck there and ran 4th. Dropped in grade the next start, faced a much weaker field, and you still got $3 for it. I thought it was, one of the bets of the autumn, and a very arrogant win.
Absolutely.
From last to first. And, just quickly before you jump in, probably didn't have the spring I thought it might, but saying that, still placed at an Empire Rose at Group 1 level, which is very good. So I think she's going to be a very good horse to follow, but I just thought that win was arrogant and one of a very good horse.
Yeah, luckless spring. Started off very good and then didn't have a lot go right. I guess there'll always be the question mark around that Guinea's form and what it beat, but it's certainly won like a good horse.
Yeah, agree. Now, on to your fourth, mate.
I've got Rochelle Milnes winning the Adelaide Cup at number 4. Obviously, huge result for everyone involved, trained by Will Clarkin and Nikki O'Shea. It was a great ride. It was a very confident ride, and it was just such I guess, to be able to deliver on the big stage, sure, it's only a Group 2 race now, the Adelaide Cup, but at the same time, that's when there's most people on track at Morphettville. So if you're an apprentice and you're not feeling nerves on that sort of stage, I reckon you'd be lying, and Rochelle just rode that horse perfectly well. So that was number 4 for me.
I like it. Number 4 for me was when Asfoora won the Irwin Stakes. So Longchamp, Curragh, Goodwood, Royal Ascot, Morphettville. They're basically the only tracks that she raced at. So the only state she raced at in Australia in 2025 with SA. So that win, I thought, in the Irwin was exceptional first up, and I think if she drew a gate in the Sangster, she would have gone close to winning that as well. And bought in Adelaide at the Adelaide Magic Millions sale, so I think it's a bit of a spiritual home for her here, and hopefully Henry brings her back next year.
Absolutely. How does she make did she make the SA breeders list?
She's not bred in SA.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just sold in SA.
Okay.
Yes.
Outstanding horse, and we know Henry's a good man, and what a job he's done with her to go back overseas twice and dominate. So outstanding.
Yep. Number 3 for you?
A bit left field, Party Crusher. A horse that we've seen a little bit here. He rose through the grades, went to Queensland, missed the Queensland Derby, unfortunately, especially for those that were on at big odds, us. Then, look, I think his win second up at Flemington during the Carnival sort of stamped himself as a really, really good horse, because we know he missed the lead-up run there, and he went over. There was good money for him. He won impressively. And, we've already touched on this previously. We love the fact that Michael's sort of identifying the Adelaide Cup with this horse. So he's one of the future for me, Party Crusher, and he's for me the most exciting horse in SA probably that we'll see over the next few months.
I like it. Good call. Number 3 for me was Charmstone winning the Sangster this year. She was first up into the Sangster. It was the second Group 1 win of the day for Mark Zara there, and you can like or loathe, these big, $1 million purchases, but when you're putting $1.55 million on the line like Seamus Mills did, you can see why it means so much when a horse like that wins. And, being on track there obviously meant a lot to him and his family. And, I even think when we had him on the podcast, he gave it a bit of a push pre-race, and you're looking forward, or you're looking ahead. That form was franked with her winning the Manikato in the spring, but it was a very memorable win, and hopefully a win that can set her up for a very good career.
Oh, it'll set her up massively. Talk about pressure, not only buying a horse at that level, but then the pressure that goes on to the trainers, Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr., they would have said, well, this is the race that we're buying at a win, and potentially, sure, she was a bit luckless as a 2 and 3-year-old, but for that all unfolds massive, and as we'll see, I think in the next 12, 18 months, when she goes through a broodmare sale, her value is going to be enormous.
Agreed. Number 2 for you, mate.
Lockie Neindorf winning the Derby. I think this, second Group 1 win, fantastic ride, blah, blah, blah. We know Lockie's a gun, but it feels like a long time ago, but I think this really set him up for his move back to Melbourne. That took some, equally as big a plums, I think, when, he was riding so well here. He could have just stayed here and just kept winning and probably won the premiership next year, but he said, no, I'm going to go back to Melbourne, I'm going to have a crack, and he's more than done that. He's 10th on the Victorian premiership at the moment, and we've just gone through the spring. He's equal with Damien Lane at the moment. Sure, Damien Lane doesn't ride in Melbourne all the time, but I think that just proves that move was worthwhile, and we're pretty proud of what he's been able to do over there in Victoria.
Bloody oath. When he told us that he was moving, it was a bit of a shock, and as you said, are you sure? But you've got to be bloody good to make it in Victoria, and he's shown that he is.
Absolutely. I'm sure he would have debated it fiercely whether the move was going to be beneficial, but he's won features during the spring, and I think he's really set himself up there to be a top 10 Victorian jockey over the next few years.
Big call, and I like it. Number 2 for me, just the Adelaide Cup in general, the win of both Silent Sorrente and I suppose Rochelle riding it there. You touched on it when you talked about her earlier on. But, if you look back at Silence Rente 12 months earlier, she had a string of placings over that mile to 2,000 metres, at Group 2 enlisted level in our carnival. And then, really came out and she didn't put a foot wrong in the lead up into the Cup, second in the Premier's Plate, second in the Lord Reims. And I suppose in hindsight, it's wondering how she even went around at $10 with, some good form in that lead up race. It was probably the query mark whether she should get the 2 mile or not. But I think when you sum it all up, it was a great story. We know that, Nikki in particular had a lot to do with that horse and a lot to do with that win. And probably the real highlight of that training partners combo before they went their separate ways. And as he touched on, Rochelle winning was just even better, because if you're doing that as an apprentice, that's skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime an SA or SA Connections can pick off one of these features, sure, it's the 4th big feature here in SA, but it was an outstanding result. So well done to all involved.
And it's not something that happens that regularly. No. It's not often that you'll get even a South Australian rider win or a trainer. So to have both team up, it's very, very memorable. Your top story or top moment of 2024?
We know we're going to be aligned here because Tony and Calvin McAvoy winning the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double in partnership with Jamie Carr/Mellum will be forever one of the great South Australian racing stories. They're iconic names with SA Racing, dominated here for such a long period of time. And I'm going to make a call. Will Jamie be the youngest person ever inducted into the South Australian Racing Hall of Fame? I'm going to press that she should go in next year. I know I don't like it how we wait till people are past it. Some horses are dead. Let's just do it now. And look, she's a superstar, and what she's done, I think, over the last, coming back from them injuries, I think that deserves some sort of push to get someone in there while they're still in the prime of their, or the peak of their powers.
Would be fitting, seeing as Tony made it this year. So do the synergy there. But I agree with you totally. My number one, and I think you can have your favourite race, whether it's the Cox Plate or whether you like the Everest now, but I don't think you can argue the Melbourne Cup's easily the biggest race in Australia, and I think, or even the world. So, you stamp yourself as a Melbourne Cup winning jockey or a Melbourne Cup winning trainer, that's what for the rest of your life. So massively life-changing win for them, and easily the number one moment this year.
Absolutely, and I think the race needed them two to win it as much as they needed to win it themselves, because we know people just love to find or draw something back with a Melbourne Cup, and to have that horse that was, basically sold online, come through, do what it did, trained by the the McAvoys, and it was outstanding, and one we'll be talking about for a long time.
Totally agree. Well done, mate. We didn't really align much, but hard to pick holes in any of those.
Nah, definitely. It was always going to be we're splitting the top one, but it's a great year of SA racing.
Agreed. Our special guest this week enjoyed a memorable Sportsbet Finals day with a second placing in the Skybow Series final with Sabatov, and then a win in the lucky last with a podcast favourite, Ginger Sinner. Her stable's in sensational form. Welcome, Paula Trenwith.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us. And what a day Saturday, I suppose. Ginger Sinner was backed into favourite late, but you got to be happy with the run of Sabatov as well to run second there.
Oh, absolutely. I was so proud of Sabatov. Rochelle was still talking about it even this morning. She thought she won, and she was so disappointed when she didn't see a number in the frame. But the horses had a mammoth prep. That was his 12th run, this prep, and he's won a couple and been around the mark, and that was fantastic. When the rain came, I was so pleased for him. So what a day it was, actually.
And, for a smaller trainer like yourself, how big is a day like finals day where you can set some of these, I suppose these lesser grade horses, for want of a better word, to have a crack at some really good prize money?
Well, it's really nice for the locals, 100%. During the carnival, we always get an influx of horses from interstate, so it's really, really nice for everyone to be able to share in some really good prize money, and it's fantastic for SA Racing and everyone to put a day on like that, and it's very, very successful, and I think it's only going to get better.
Now, Ginger Sinner, only $15,000 you picked him up for. That's some very good buying off Richard Jolly. Tell us what attracted you to that horse, and what were you thinking you were getting when you bought him?
Well, we actually purchased him through some tragic circumstances. I lost a horse at the races at at Mildura, and unfortunately, and I'd really wanted to get those owners into another horse. And yeah, it just so happened I was talking. My vet was here one day, and I said, I really need to find another horse. And yeah, he said, oh, well, perhaps you should look at Ginger Sinner, because he was sold to Malaysia, but then he failed the vet because he was vaccinated for Hendra virus. So they don't accept them. That's how that came about. So thanks to Andrew Hunt for getting me in that. And I've got all those lovely owners in him, and it's been a wonderful ride for them. So it's been amazing.
Absolutely. What were your expectations when you got him? He's done a massive job, 4 wins, 9 starts, and obviously a feature on Saturday. What were you thinking when you first landed him in the stable? Yeah,
well, I watched his replays and I loved him. Absolutely loved him. I couldn't wait to get him. He had quite a few seconds, and I actually thought the guys on Get On would have him on in the what's it called, the
Maricourt Medal.
The Maricourt Medal, because he ran so many seconds, but he was running seconds to good horses, and there was really good form around him. So I couldn't wait to get him into the stable, because we were there at Balaclava when he ran second his last start for Richard Jolly, and Richard walked past me and said, "Oh, at least you got your maiden there." And I thought, well, that's he's going to win a maiden, that's for sure.
And record aside, you mentioned on Saturday post race he's got a few quirks, this horse. I think you described him as like a kid on red cordial. So I guess tell everyone what you have to do to keep him happy, and I guess keep him racing as well as he is.
Yeah, he is. He's a real high energy horse, and he hasn't got a mean bone in his body. He never bites you or kick you or anything, but he's just full on. He can be calm. We work him first in the dark. We have our routines. Take him over there. He wears earmuffs all the time everywhere he goes, and he has his mates. I've got a little pony called Chocolate. Chocolate will go to the races with him as well to keep him calm. Maybe he's been the answer, the secret weapon. I don't know, but just keep a routine with him. I do him. I pretty much do him all the time. I lead him on and off the track. He can whip around when they pull up and the other day he unfortunately got rid of the rider and he went for a burn around, and he's given me quite a few grey hairs. So you put up with it when they can gallop.
And what's the plan for him next? Whether it's next start or you got any lofty expectations maybe come autumn next year?
Oh, well, no, I'd just like to go through the grades with him, just keep him in the benchmark races. He's still doing a lot wrong. And I think once he learns his craft, he's probably going to be even better. There's a race at Gawler in a couple of weeks' time, I think. There's a race called the Eureka Stockade, I think, next week at Ballarat. I might put a sneaky nom in for that, but I think that's just going to be a bit beyond him at this stage, but it doesn't cost anything to nom, so we'll throw a nom in and have a look. But realistically, that next Gawler meeting, there's a suitable 1,200 metre race for him, and and then I don't know. I'll just take it race by race. I just like to get through day by day with him, to be totally honest.
That's fair.
And you've got another newcomer to the stable that goes around this Saturday in Creek, a horse that you purchased off Godolphin. He was very good first up, and then got beaten the other day. But you must be pretty excited about this horse. He looks like he's going to do a good job here in South Australia.
Yeah, he's a beautiful animal, gorgeous. And Rochelle rode him this morning actually, and she was walking in. She said, "This is possibly the quietest racehorse I've ever ridden." So he's the polar opposite to Ginger Sinner. He's beautiful, and beautiful looking horse. And he's got a really good turn of foot. His 2 runs have been terrific. So we're really excited to take him to the races again.
You purchased him off Godolphin. Was there any reservations in going and buying one off a stable like that?
Well, yeah, no, I didn't have any reservations at all. They usually are fantastic and open with any problems with the horses and stuff. So yeah, we paid paid about 30,000 for him at the sales. Which is right up there for me. We don't, I normally buy the cheapies, so we went out on a limb. But I got him home, and we found he had a bit of an issue, so he had to have a bit of a spell. And it's probably been a good thing he's grown and matured, and he's just a beautiful animal.
And your other runner on Saturday is in the second race, Fluttering Ruby, on debut. What are your thoughts on the mare here?
Yeah, she's a lovely looking animal as well. Actually, I bought her cheap online, and I only paid $800 for her. And I just watched her jump outs from Kieran Maher, and I was particularly impressed with her last jump out. She led him up, and she ran third, and she was only overtaken by Daggers, and she Hung the Moon, and we know Daggers goes pretty good, and she Hung the Moon is pretty smart as well. So that's the reason why I bought her. We got her home, and they said she had an issue. So we found a little issue with her. We spelled her and brought her back. But I was so impressed when I saw her as a type. I do a lot of work. I take Friedman's horses, Anthony and Sam Friedman's horses, when they come over. I've been doing them for a long time. And when she came into my stable, it just looked like one of their horses. She's just absolutely beautiful, big, leggy mare. And she's I don't know. She'll be competitive on Saturday, but like Rochelle has been riding her for me in her gallops, and she said, the only thing that'll stop her running a good race will be just her not knowing what she's doing because it's her first start.
Sounds like it's absolutely all things are flying with you at the moment, Paula, which is great to see. And thanks for taking the time to chat to us on Front Run today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Link, the final Follow Me of 2025. Who are we whacking in our black book?
One from the last race on Saturday, Shadow Eagle, trained by Byron Kozomanis. I thought this was a very good run from a horse that drew the inside gate. You probably never wanted to be with him knowing the way the track was racing. We know when it gets a bit wet and it doesn't tend to sort of suit horses drawn down towards the inside, but it was making really good ground late, and then basically ran into a brick wall, had to change course quickly, got going late and was beaten a touch over a length. I think he's a follower. I've got a bit of time for this horse, I reckon, so do the stable. So follow him through the summer, Shadow Eagle.
Race of the day on Saturday at Morphettville Parks comes up in race 8. It's a benchmark 66 over 1,550 metres, and it's a really competitive race here with more than a few horses that have got some good form lines and make this race very interesting indeed. Now, the obvious form line is that from a couple of weeks back where I Suspect You beat the heavily fancied Beautiful Jewel. Now, the winner there was really good, and Beautiful Jewel just couldn't pick her up late. But that mare is one who's always shown a bit of talent, and from her 9 runs for Trav Dowdle, she's finished in the top 4 7 times, which is outstanding. And we get to see Todd Panel jump aboard now, which I think shows good intent for the stable, Link.
Absolutely, yeah. Certainly probably the best credentialed horse in the race when you look at overall record, but the one thing that stands out, 1 win from 15, but she's been around the parks 4 times, placed on all 4 occasions. I did think she had every possible chance last start. She sort of got out in time, maybe took a little bit longer than she needed to, but I thought the winner was very good. I Suspect You on that occasion. So wouldn't shock me if there's a little bit of improvement in her, but she's going to need to improve, especially from gate 14.
Yeah. Now, a horse that is proven at this level is Daryl Dodson's Eye Catching Fox. He was last seen in the Country Cups final at Flemington on Oaks Day, and is a massive winning chance here for me. We get to see Alicia Warren take 3 kilos off, which I think further aids his chances.
Yeah, top pick for me in this race on that Flemington run, which was pretty brave, was up on speed, only sort of got reeled in late, beaten 2.5. But another horse that when you look at his record, he's been around the parks 4 times for a win, a second and a third, and the form's pretty solid for this, and I think if Alicia Warren can sort of get a little bit of luck early after the 3 kilo claim, I think Eye Catching Fox is certainly the horse to beat.
Rightio, but it was pretty hard not to be impressed with Full of Courage. Start 2 for Chris Beeg at Murray Bridge. He won with a bit of arrogance over that 1,400 metres, although being in a lower grade at benchmark 58, but he's a horse that looks to have plenty of upside, and Beeg has had a good run with the horses he brought over from New Zealand.
Yeah, I think that race, the form will be okay for a Wednesday at Murray Bridge. Press Express goes all right to Tory. We know is a horse that's been sent out favourite in city races before, so I think the form will stack up all right. And as you said, this horse was really impressive. Sat off them, and to win by 2.85 was pretty impressive. You think a horse that's going to get better as the campaign progresses, and I've certainly got full of courage in my numbers.
Nice, and the chances don't stop there. Wild Winner won nicely at Morphettville last start and has had form around the talented Tropical House in the past. Bowboy hit the line well last start, and Premiership leading jockey Jason Holder sticks, while Dolcemente usually peaks third up and has never run outside the placings in 3 runs third up. Link, run us through your numbers for race 8.
Yeah, I'm with the 4 Eye Catch and Fox on the strength of that Flemington run. Goes good around the park, so I think probably one of the horse, probably he got equally the most upside of any horse in this race. So 4 I Catch and Fox on top of 5 Beautiful Jewel. If she can find a length or two, she's going to be very hard to beat in a race like this. We know her best is pretty good. 11 I Spec Due, hard not to be impressed with its win the other day, and likewise the 9 Full of Courage. So I'm 4, 5, 11, 9 in race 8.
All right, best bets time for the final time in 2025. Now, Link's also nervous here because the markets haven't quite hit on a Wednesday afternoon, but you got 3 for us, and we'll kick it off in race 3, which is a race over 1,250 metres.
Yeah, I'm tipping the 2 Alpine Flyer here. Blink is the first start for Travis Dowdle. Formerly with Michael Hickmott, this horse has got a pretty good record overall. She's won 2 of 7 on the Parks. She gets an inside gate. Caitlin Tootle takes 3 off. There's a lot of ticks, and she comes off a Morphettville jump out beating Kinetic Jewel. So I think she's ready to go. And as I said, the fresh form, 8 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds. So plenty of ticks, and yeah, maybe it's an indication that she is going pretty well, that Trav goes for the blinkers here. And I think she'll be very hard to beat. Race 3, number 2 Alpine Flyer.
Race 6 is the next race you want to have a look at. A benchmark 64 over 1,000 metres, and there's a few decent horses in this race, but you're settling on a horse that you've followed a few times, and that's round 2 from the Byron Cosmanis yard.
Certainly one of mine, round 2. Another horse that draws the inside gate. So hopefully the rail's red hot at the Parks on Saturday. Otherwise, I'm in a world of pain. But got a good record. Good record around the Parks. 5 starts, 1 win, a second and a third. Thought his last start was pretty good behind Murph, who we know is a horse going super. So we've seen this horse, his pattern is to get out front, roll along, and be hard to beat. And I think if he does that here from this gate, he's going to be very hard to beat. The only blip in his, recent form was when he bombed the start there 2 starts back. But I think round 2 and race 6, number 3, will be very hard to beat.
And to round off the numbers, we're going to race 7, benchmark 64 over the 2,250 metres. And you're a brave man, my friend, tipping Pelvecchio on top.
Yeah, this is hiding to nothing here, but if Pellavecchio is ever going to win another race, surely this is the day. Look, she's been a beaten favourite at her last 4, so that's not a great sign. But gate 4, when you go back, if we can go all the way back to May 10th, she ran 5th behind Lid Steel in that SA Phillies Classic over 2,500. Her form around them sort of lead-up races, or the Oaks and stuff, were pretty good. I think, she's probably just been craving this sort of distance. She's going to need to be cuddled up for a while by Jacob Opperman, but gate 4, he can do that. One last chance, Pellavecchio, race 7, number 8.
Rightio, let's recap Link's best bets for Saturday. Race 3, number 2, Alpine Flyer. Race 6, number 3, round 2. And to finish things off, race 7, number 8, Pellavecchio. All right, Link, that is it for 2025. Well done, my friend. We've got there.
Yeah, it's been a big year. Certainly some highlights as we touched on through the top 5s. Don't give up on us. We'll be back bigger and stronger next year, and can't wait to do it all again.
Yeah, now while we're taking a break over the next month or 2, the content won't stop, so you're still going to get all of Link's tips, interviews with trainers, jockeys and experts across the summer, so make sure you give us a follow on X, Facebook and Instagram. Just look for Dare to Dream. And if you are interested in ownership, we've heard some good stories today. Ginger Sinner, 15k into 155,000. Thank you very much. Head to daretodream.com.au. The next champion racehorse could be yours. Link, thanks for all your work this year. And as you said, we'll be back bigger and better in 2026.
No, I think you do most of the work for this, mate, so I've got to thank you. But yeah, all the best for the festive season for all our listeners.
Yep, totally agree. And hopefully you find a few winners across the summer, and we'll speak to you next year.